Albertsons Companies, Inc. is an American grocery company founded in 1939. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified of my latest videos. Please hit that like button and leave a suggestion or a comment. You might see that in a future video. Thanks for watching, and now back to a regular scheduled program.
Presenting a fresh approach to shopping with fresh ways to save. This week at Albertsons, save on red or green seedless grapes, just 99 cents a pound. Boneless London broil, buy one, get one of equal or lesser value free. And Ragu pasta sauce, just 99 cents each. Looking for thousands of bonus buys? Albertsons. It's your store.
In 1939, Joe Albertsons left his position as a district manager for Safeway stores, and with his partners L.S. Skaggs, whose family helped build Safeway, and Tom Cuthbert, Skaggs' accountant, opened his first one-stop shopping market on a Boise, Idaho corner. Albertson thought big from the start. His first newspaper ad promised customers Idaho's largest and finest food store. Indeed, the store was huge by contemporary standards. At 10,000 square feet, it was approximately 8 times as large as the average grocery store of that era. The store included specialties such as an in-store bakery, one of the country's first magazine racks, and homemade Big Joe ice cream cones. Customers liked what they saw, and the store pulled in healthy first-year profits of $9,000. Albertsons grew slowly at first. Sales remained constant during the war years, and in 1945, Joe Albertson dissolved the partnership, and Albertsons was incorporated. The store was filled with perks that, at the time, were brand new: free parking, a money-back guarantee, and even an ice cream shop. The grocery store was an enormous success, and Albertson reinvested his profits back into the business. When Albertson was considering putting a new store in a town, he would drive around the town and look for neighborhoods with a lot of children's clothing hanging on clothesline. Nowadays, that would land you in jail, or at least the cautious stares from the locals. Anyway, he knew that those kinds of neighborhoods were where he wanted to build his stores. By 1947, the chain had 6 stores operating in Idaho and had established a complete poultry processing operation. In 1949, the Dutch Girl ice cream plant opened in Boise, and Albertsons adopted the Dutch Girl as its early trademark. Albertsons expanded during the 1950s into Washington, Utah, Oregon, and Montana. Albertsons also operated a few department stores during the 1950s, but these were phased out rapidly as the company decided to focus on the sale of food and drugstore items. In 1959, Albertsons introduced its private label, Janet Lee, named after the executive's vice president's daughter. The company also went public in 1959, and with that capital, began to expand its markets aggressively. Albertsons moved into its 6th state, Wyoming, in 1961, and opened its 100th store in 1962. In 1964, the company broke into California market by acquiring Greater All-American Markets, based in Los Angeles. In 1967, Albertsons expanded into Colorado, acquiring 8 stores from Furr's Supermarkets. By the end of the 1960s, Albertsons operated over 200 stores. In 1969, Albertsons partnered with Skaggs Drug Centers, owned by the Skaggs Companies, Inc., to create the first combination food drug stores, a first in Texas. The partnership was a tremendous success for several years. The partnership ended due to the fact that it was getting more difficult to control. Neither partner could buy the other out, and the partnership was dissolved amicably in 1977. In 1981, Albertsons entered the states of Nebraska and South Dakota. In 1982, Albertsons reorganized its management into 4 regions: California, Northwest, Intermountain, and South, Albertsons continued to add stores in the 1980s, building or acquiring about 283 stores during the decade. By 1983, the chain had 423 stores. Since Albertsons had grown by expanding over a wide geographic area rather than increasing its dominance in a small area, it did not hold a superior market share in many of the areas where it operated. But it was this diversification, in part, that had allowed Albertsons to weather the economic storms of the 1970s and the 1980s so successfully. The expansion of Albertsons' distribution network, combined with a new computerized inventory and checkout scanners, enabled the chain to begin to handle its own distribution in 1990. By 1993, almost two-thirds of the items purchased by Albertsons stores were distributed by its own system. In 1992, the company acquired 74 Jewel Osco food and drug stores in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Florida from American stores. By 1995, Albertsons had about 800 stores in 19 states and revenues approaching $12 billion. Albertsons launched a new part of their brand in 1997 called Albertsons Express. This concept wasn't limited to Idaho. It expanded to locations across America located on Albertsons' existing and new store properties. In 1999, Albertsons made its biggest acquisition yet, American Stores Company. The acquisition made Albertsons the largest American food and drug operator with over 2,500 stores, including standalone drugstores, in 37 states, until Kroger's acquisition of Fred Meyer closed the following month. To make the acquisition, Albertsons was forced by antitrust concerns to divest 146 stores, primarily in California, Nevada, and New Mexico, to certified grocers, Raley's, Ralph's, Stater Brothers, and Vons. In California, Nevada, and New Mexico, there were already Albertsons stores, so in order not to have two banners in the same area, 508 Lucky stores were converted to the Albertsons banner in November of 1999, and the Lucky brand was retired. In 2001, Albertsons announced the closure of 165 underperforming stores spread across 25 states, cutting jobs and reducing its newly created operating divisions. Albertsons sold its freestanding Osco drugstores in the northeastern states to Jean Coutu Group. In 2004, Albertsons acquired Shaw's Supermarkets and Star Market from Sainsbury for $2.5 billion, and they also purchased Bristol Farms for $135 million. Many of the acquired chains had systems that did not mesh well with Albertsons. Financing those acquisitions required Albertsons Inc. to take on significant debt. Added to those problems were significant changes in consumer buying patterns, including new competition from large discounters such as Walmart and Costco that impacted sales. It was announced on January 23, 2006 that Albertsons Inc. was to be sold to a consortium of companies. SuperValue would take the bulk of the company, including the brand names, and what was considered to be the stronger divisions, including the Albertsons divisions of Southern California, Northwest, and Intermountain, as well as the Acme, Bristol Farms, Jewel Osco, and Shaw's Supermarkets and Star Market brands. This acquisition would also lead to SuperValue gaining access to over 100 Albertsons Express fuel centers. What was left of Albertsons Inc. became Albertsons LLC, purchased by a Servius-led group of investors and CVS Pharmacy. The acquisition was completed on June 2, 2006, with the Servius-led group. Albertsons LLC included 661 stores and the distribution centers and offices from 5 of Albertsons divisions. These 5 divisions were thought to be Albertsons' 5 weakest divisions, and conventional wisdom in the industry was that the stores would eventually be closed or sold to other operators. On June 6, 2006, only 1 week after Albertsons LLC was created, the company announced its intent to close 100 Albertsons stores by April 2006, including all but 2 Super Saver stores. Over the next few years, Albertsons LLC would close down, divest, and even move out of some of the regions. In 2008, Albertsons Express gas stations were divested and sold off to Valero, as well as rebranded to SuperValue. In 2013, the company acquired Lubbock-based supermarket United Supermarkets LLC. In 2015, Albertsons officially acquired Safeway Inc. after being cleared by the FTC for $9.4 billion, thus giving it control of the Safeway store banners, including Randall's, Tom Thumb, Cars, Safeway, Vons, and Pavilions. Alberts continued to expand, purchasing 70 stores owned by the bankrupt Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company, operating under the names of Food Emporium, AMP, AMP Fresh, Superfresh, and Pathmark. They were quickly reopened as Acme stores. Wait, not Acme Corporation, but Acme Markets. In 2020, Albertsons submitted a winning bid for King's Food Markets and Balducci's chain. Hey, if you just watched my video, thanks for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe to Eric C. Productions.